afternoon, good evening. I just saw the second magpie fly by. So 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy. I never remember the rest, but that's okay. So hello and welcome back to another episode of Sol y Punto. My name is Nicole and this is my dog Oso, who has come to join me under this olive tree. And this is a knitting podcast. So if you have never been here before, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. I'm glad that you enjoy my shenanigans. This, I believe, is episode number 28, although I realized that in my previous 2 episodes, I labeled them as 26. So I decided we are going to skip over the episode that really is 27 to avoid the club of the 27s, like Kurt Cobain and Janis Joplin. So no, we're just going to skip on to 28. So this is episode 28. This is a bilingual podcast. So if you're interested in watching in Spanish, you can head on over to the other video. I try to say the same things, although sometimes I don't. Yes, I am a New Yorker knitting and living in the south of Spain. I'm in Granada under an olive tree, like I said. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about natural dyeing. We're going to talk about fiber events. We will talk about finished objects? No, unfortunately no, but works in progress and things that will be on my needles soon. Yes, and I am very interested in herbalism and plants and plant magic and plant color with natural dyeing. And typically I talk about one herbal ally at the end of the episode. So actually today I just came across the flower and the plant that I wanted to talk about. This is oxalis. This is a flower that comes with the beautiful little 3 heart leaves that come together. It's not a clover. So I wanted to talk about oxalis and then also clovers and talk about the difference and the medicinal uses and the natural dye uses. I met a woman who had been doing dye with this flower, and she said that she got a beautiful bright yellow. But then when she was felting it using soap, which makes it it changes the pH, it turned like a orangey, like a bright orange, beautiful color. So I'm going to collect some of these and naturally dye with them if I don't eat them all first. Have you ever tried these? They're like super lemony and tart and delicious. I love them. I was watching something yesterday. Someone was talking about how it's like really famous in British cuisine to use oxalis. Can anyone tell me if they know any recipes with this? I would like to make like a lemonade or something with it. It's super yummy. So, like I said, we'll be talking about fiber and yarn and projects and everything. Let me tell you what I am wearing. So here is a sweater. This is the Noki cardigan. And in a previous episode, I explained how you can flip it around. This is actually normally the part that comes around the neck and here, these cables. But I like wearing it like this because then this part comes up and it's cozy, and then it's actually shorter and it looks better with a dress. So you can change it around. And speaking of changing things up and changing things around, I was thinking about maybe giving this another over dye. This was dyed by my dear friend Ida in logwood. So it's a very light lavendery color. But I was like, maybe I can give it another dye bath and see what happens. And then I have a new sweater, isn't that so fun? If you are willing to give things a chance and try out, I don't know, just taking out the dye pots and doing things, then you can play around and you can have multiple different lives in one garment. You know, you can change the colors around. So I'm excited about the possibility. I really love this color and I love the way it is, but I was like, it would be fun to do something else with it. Why not? So, oh, there we have a little puppy. But the guy put the puppy on the leash. Oh, it's like a little husky puppy. Oso hasn't seen it because if he saw it, he'd be up and like really excited. But Oso and I have been walking for some time now. Oh, there's another magpie. Oh, they're so beautiful. We've been walking for some time and actually we saw all the sheep. Oh, yep, saw the puppy. You saw the puppy? I knew you'd see the puppy. But we saw all the sheep on the other hill, like far away. I was like, I hope they don't come too close because that's a story for another day. But also in the sheep, no, we don't want that. They'll probably have like shepherd dogs and that could be dangerous for this one. No? Ahora vamos a ir en un ratito. Tú ahí. Okay, so we've got the Noki cardigan. And then we have this beautiful Verita shawl. This is a design by my dear friend Antonio Beagle Knits. He designed this for the Barcelona Knits Festival. And it represents like the Sagrada Familia, and it was, the yarn is a beautiful like merino silk single from Justina of Feliz y Punto. The name is Olive Poetry for the colorway, but it was a colorway that was specific for Barcelona Knits, and I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous color. The only thing is that I did not take my time when I blocked this. I need Marinela to help me. she's my expert blocker, because it has this like gorgeous edge on it. Well, this label. I wanted to say lace panel. It has this beautiful lace panel, but the edge, I joke around with Antonia because I was like, I didn't even memorize the edge stitches, like the entire, like it was a lot, this pattern, because it had like the different panels with the different things and I had to be like checking everything off all the time. And even the edge was like complicated because it was like, I think it was like a six row repeat, but like I don't know, it was hard. I had to really pay attention when I was knitting this, but it's just one skein, so it doesn't go by that slowly, but it needs a good blocking to really show how gorgeous it is. So that is Olive Poetry. The shawl is Veritas and the design is by Antonio, and it's a free pattern, so if you're interested and you have that one beautiful special skein, I think it's gorgeous. I normally like the bigger the better, like the big shawls, the heavy shawls, the cozy cuddly shawls, but I really enjoy this one skein shawl because it's like perfect. Like it's pretty warm out right now. I'm in the shade, so it's a little bit cooler, but having just a one skein shawl is really nice sometimes. So I like that, and I recommend the Veritas shawl if you're interested. So, more things. I wanted to give some podcast recommendations. I don't know if you know her already, but I was loving watching the podcast of Jackie of Wool and the Forest. So she's a woman, an indigo dyer, who lives, a working artist, who lives in like the coastal mountains of the west coast of the United States. And she's actually from Sri Lanka. And so she has all of this heritage of indigo dyeing. And I just love her episodes. It's like she's very... they're very soothing episodes. I found her, you might have seen her episode. I think she had one episode that was very popular where she was talking about the unspun yarn, the Nutidin, and I think she even talked about Manchilope, which is like from Wool Dreamers, that single ply. It's similar to Plotulopi, but it's from Spain, the Manchilope. I need to get some of that from Wool Dreamers and try, because I've never tried unspun yarn, but now I'm interested. Anyway, So yeah, so I saw that episode that was like quite popular, and then I went back to like the first one. I love to watch podcasts from episode 1, so I watched all of them and I really enjoyed all of them, so I highly recommend you checking her out. I know she has like a Patreon with like more videos, and I think she sells her indigo dyed pieces, which are gorgeous. And I really like some of like the philosophy that she talks about. She was talking about this idea of like influencer culture and how sometimes we get a little bit overconsumed with consumerism, even in the knitting world, where we're like, oh, we need this yarn, we need these needles, we need all of these tools and everything. And she was saying like to kind of hold back on that, which I think is really important. Although Antonio and I are selling yarn with Save the Sheep and everything, but I still think it's important to talk about this and maybe just to take it easy and to think about what we're bringing into our homes and make good choices about that, because if not, then sometimes we can get overwhelmed with all of the things that we have, you know, and I think that we can get by with a lot less in a lot of aspects of our lives, although abundance is important, and I don't know. Anyway, so I highly recommend her podcast. If you speak Spanish, you probably know that I have this video in both Spanish and English, so you can go check it out in Spanish as well. But if you watch Spanish, Mimosa Café Lanar, who has a shop up in Asturias in Spain, she has a new podcast. She says it's not a podcast, but it's a podcast. She's talking about some of her designs, what she has in her shop, and now Again, maybe I don't need to watch these podcasts, because now I want to buy this kit that she has. She knit this little sweater for her baby, and since we have a new special baby in the family, I want to knit all the baby things. So I don't know. We will see. I mean, if it's to be gifted, that's good. My Oso, he's just scratching his back, rolling over. Oh, how beautiful in the shade. What a gorgeous day, no? Anyway, so I recommend that. Also, talking about Mimosa, I thought it was interesting because if you follow her Instagram, you look at her stories and you think, oh, she lives in this gorgeous place. Oh my gosh, look at those flowers, look at those cows, look at those chickens. It's just so beautiful. And she commented on that and she said, I live in a small town outside of Gijón, and it's like very industrial. Like people always think that I live in this gorgeous place, but it's actually an ugly little town, but I love it. And I thought that was interesting because I had just been watching another video by She Is of the Woods. Sorry, we're gonna head inside soon, and I hope that the wind isn't too much. It's quite windy. I was trying to look for a place where it wasn't so windy, but it's a little bit windy. We're gonna head inside, don't worry. I was watching She Is of the Woods, so Wool in the Forest, She Is of the Woods, all of these recommendations. She Is of the Woods is an herbalist who always makes videos to explain how to make tinctures, how to make infused oils. Her slogan is like, you are smart enough to do this. Like, you don't need to pay someone thousands of dollars to learn how to make an herbally infused oil or something, you just need to take a jar, put some plants in it, put some oil in there. You can't do it wrong, so that's what she talks about. But she had an episode about romanticizing our connection with nature and thinking like, until I have 10 acres of my own land, I cannot connect with nature. And that's not true. Like, you can, even if you live in the center of Manhattan in a skyscraper, you can go down and find dandelion growing in the cement. Like, nature is everywhere. Nature is all around us. Nature wants to connect with us. And I think that even if you can just find a tree near your house or something, or even a potted plant of basil in your windowsill, like, now that in the northern hemisphere we're approaching the equinox and spring is around the corner, it's time for us to connect with the plants and to connect with nature and the trees and the air and the clouds, everything, just the elements, or just even just appreciating the change in the seasons, you know, like all these things can bring us closer to nature. So I just wanted to highlight that, and I thought it was interesting that Mimosa kind of talked about that people think that she lives in this glorious place, but really it's just a little town, you know. And like me, like I live in the city center. I live in an apartment. I'm always like, oh, I wish I had a garden. I wish I had like land and I could grow things. But I have to be very appreciative that I can take Oso out and in an hour I can be up in a gorgeous place like this amongst the olive trees, you know? So we need to appreciate what we have and to connect with the land that is near us. And so, what else did I want to say? Okay, now I'm going to show you the little baby pants that I knit for the special new family member. And I wanted just to remind you all that on my channel, you can go back. Recently, I've done a few new ones, a few new interviews with other fiber crafty people that I think are really beautiful. They're not too long. It's just a nice little conversation, talking about all things that we love. And yeah, I recently did one with Lucia Ruiz de Aguirre, who is if you don't know her, she is a wonderful knitwear designer here in Spain, and that was a beautiful conversation in English. And she's from the north of Spain. Well, no, she's actually from the center of Spain, but she lives in the north now. With Shamika, that was really nice, in English, my friend from New York, who's an awesome knitter. And with Belen in Spanish, we talked about her bio crochet yarn project and everything. So those are really nice. And if you go back, you can find interviews with like so many people, with Maria from Ninja Chickens, with Chevy Rell, with Mr. Wool in Spanish, with Cecilia of Mama DIY, with Antonio of Beagle Knits in Spanish, with Marianela in Spanish. But yeah, so there's like a whole bunch of interviews, and I think that they're really nice because you can get to know other people in the fiber world. So I highly recommend going back and checking those out. And that's it. So let's get on. We're going to talk about everything. Embroidery, knitting, finished objects, no. Oh yes, finished objects, yes. I have finished objects right here. Okay, let's go. Okay, so I'm here saying that I don't have any finished objects, but I do. I even put it in a little bag because I knew I was going to be like collecting plants, throwing them in my tote bag, which I'm using my beautiful tote bag with the seagulls and the whales. And let's see, I also have my Beltane shawl with me because I was knitting it over there. And there's another magpie for a boy. For a boy. So these are for a little boy. And actually, how funny, these are knit with this yarn. And look at how the color changed. So this is a lot like more like washed out, really, having worn it, because that's what happens with logwood. Logwood, I don't know, I think it has an evolution of the color. But these are with the fresh yarn, so it's a little bit brighter. Look at that. And look, there's actually even a difference, because that's why. Okay, so these are the little pants that I knit for a very special little boy in the family. And I love them. I think they're so sweet. This is my pattern called Lightning Thigh Goat Pants, LTGP. And yes, so you can see that you cast on here, and then you knit, and then you turn them over, and you make like this waistband, and then you do some short rows on the little butt where their little diaper goes. Oh, so cute. And then you knit one leg. So I first knit this leg, and then I put this other yarn here to just make some stripes and make it fun. And then on this leg, because I knew that the purple was like a little bit different. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, I guess you kind of can. And so I was like, well, they're for kids, so they can be funny and they can be different. And I put yellow here and then changed it. But I love them. Aren't they so cute? And then I got this like really nice little, what do we call this, ribbon? And you know, when you cut the ribbon, it's always good to like burn a little bit right here. Like just take the lighter and like heat it so it stays and doesn't like unravel. Pro tip. And these are these little adorable pants. Aren't they so cute? Oh, so what do you think about them? Do you love them? Are they adorable? He loves them. He loves them. So those are those little lightning thigh goat pants. I knit them in this DK yarn. I have a pair for myself that I wear, that I knit for myself in Snefnug, in that beautiful Camaros yarn, and I wear them like all the time. So those are the pants. The pattern is available. It's kind of like a pattern recipe, so you can knit them for kids, you can knit them for adults, and I think they're a really good pattern. All right, so are you ready to walk? Are you ready? Okay. All right, so we'll be back, and we'll be back at home. Okay, ciao. Hi, friends. So we're back in the house, and I want to show you all of my whips. I have whips galore. I really don't know what happened, but we are knitting all the things, apparently. So, yes, it is a beautiful day. I'm already in like a dress. It's like hot and sunny, but I was like, well, I need some knitting. So I decided to put on this shawl. This is the boho shawl. I think it's by Andrea Mowry. I did not knit it. I was gifted this shawl by my lovely Beltane swap knitter last spring. It was dyed by my dear friend Aida of Tintica. This is dyed with natural dyes. This is dyed with rubia, which is madder root. And it's really pretty, and it was really special that my swap exchange partner thought to knit with my friend's yarn, and that was really sweet, and it has all these fun fringes. So I'm wearing that. And yeah, I'm surrounded by whips. Do you want to see them all? I don't know what happened. How did I start so many projects? Okay, so we will start with what's living in my little bag by... Who made this for me? Who? Was it by Carola Down Under? This is my friend Erika. Hi Erika, from Australia. She's actually from Madrid, but she lives in Australia. And living in here is my beautiful alpaca and nettle and merino yarn from Alpacas El Camino. As you can see, I have ripped out because I was knitting some socks and I just went a little bit too far on the increases. So yesterday I was knitting on it and I was like, these are too wide. These are way too wide. So I ripped them back and we have started once again. Just a regular toe-up vanilla sock. I'm knitting them on my Chowgu needles, and this is the size. I knit pretty, I mean, these are really tight. These are like tight fabric, but I like the socks to be like that. And these are the Chowgu 2 millimeters. And I just did some increases. I did that like magic toe cast on. You can probably find it on YouTube. I think it's like Judy's Magic Cast On, or I don't know, just look up like toe up socks cast on, and I'm sure you can find a bunch of videos showing that. But this yarn is really nice. It's really nice. It has like lots of fuzzies in it. I'm really enjoying it, and I love that this is a project of alpacas from here in Spain. And I have a picture of them hanging up on my wall over there. And this alpaca's name was Flavia. And I love her like creamy, chocolatey brown color. It's so pretty. And I love that this has nettles. I imagine that these are not going to be a very hard wearing sock because there's no nylon and it's not super wash and anything. but I'm hoping that I can wear them as like around the house socks, sleep socks, and they are just like my Zoom knitting project that I keep on my desk in my adorable little, do you want to see? Hold on. In my adorable thing, this is made by my friend's father. He's a woodworker in New Hampshire. And she even put my logo in there. Isn't that the sweetest? Well, her father did, but she actually helped him because she said that they forgot to put the R. So she had to like hand engrave the R of ThymeWeaver. It's like a little mushroom. It's my yarn bowl. So I keep this in my yarn bowl next to me as I am doing things on Zoom or whatever, and I can knit a few rows. So I haven't gotten very far, especially because I undid all of that. But I'm proud of myself that I undid it because I was knitting it and like, you know, knitter's intuition, I was like, this is gonna be too wide. Definitely gonna be too wide. So you could actually see probably that line is where I picked up again, but I don't care, they're for my feet. And now I think that they're going to be the perfect size. I believe I have about 64 stitches. I'm not nitpicky about my increases. Like sometimes I'll be knitting around, maybe I'm in a Zoom meeting and I will forget to do a round of increases, so I'll do it again. So they're not perfect, but more or less I think I have 32 on like each side. And yeah, so we will see where those go. I'm gonna keep weighing this. It was 100 grams and I'm going to see once I get to 50 and then just bind off. And so they'll be like shorty socks, but aren't they cute? So those are my Alpacas El Camino, a very cool project in the north of Spain with the alpacas. And what else do I have as a work in progress? Okay, speaking of cool projects with local breeds, I have my Save the Sheep. So this is Save the Sheep. If you don't know about Save the Sheep, go check out our Instagram because this is my project with Antonio of Beagle Knits. And this is a local breed of endangered species heritage sheep from Granada, actually from a village called Loja. And I dyed this with logwood. So we made available some kits with the 3 skeins of the Loja yarn to be able to knit along in the mystery pattern for March of Antonio, which every Saturday there is a new shawl. And actually Antonio just sent me a message. I'm recording on my phone. And this is the beginning of the shawl. And it's really funny, the name of the shawl is Sheep Life. And so it starts off, these are like the pens. I think it's gonna be really nice when I block it to be able to see like the twisted stitches and everything. But the border edge, Antonio always has such an interesting border. So the border is like the pens where the sheep live. And then they start coming out, and each one of these is a little sheep. Each bubble's a little sheep. So the first round of bubbles, I followed the pattern, but Antonio is also doing a video along with the written pattern, and he said in the video that you can do the bubbles whenever you want, but just as soon as the bubbles end, then it turns into pearls, and this is all going to be pearl stitches once all of the sheep have come out. So now I've started going rogue. I just put a sheep here, a sheep here. We got to give them all names. This is Amalio, this is Antonita, this is Nicolina, because we went to go, have you seen our pictures of the sheep? We went to go visit them. They're so beautiful. And the work that the farmers of Loja are doing for this breed is amazing. I was so lucky to be invited to go to a talk hosted at the university here in Granada about this breed and about the work that is being done to maintain this heritage breed through all the hardship. I think it's very difficult now as a shepherd with everything that's going on in the world and just the way society is moving away from these endeavors and just like how they're trying to keep it alive. And so that's part of our work in Save the Sheep, to bring visibility to these small breeds. Like, not everything is merino, although this Loja yarn was spun together with merino from León, from another project in La Huertona. And they're also working with like a very small farm and like working to like keep these sheep alive and keep the shepherds going. So because our Loja sheep has a very, very short staple length, so we needed to have it spun. And as you can see, this is like a single ply. I guess I don't really know about spinning. I signed up for a spinning class in Sevilla Teje, which I'm really looking forward to because I have some Loja fleece that I want to spin and learn about. So yes, but this, so is a single ply different from unspun? I believe so. I believe that this was spun into a single ply, but just wasn't plied with anything else, because it does have a twist to it, but it doesn't have more than one strand. So yeah, so this was spun by Wool Dreamers. I don't know if you know of the project of Wool Dreamers, but they are doing so much amazing work, and I got to hang out with Ramon when I went to this event. It was wonderful, and I got to meet Sian, who is a British woman who lives in Loja, and she's working with the sheep and the shepherds and everything, so very cool. And I got to meet Isa also, who does felting, and got to see her natural dyes and her felting work, and it was really nice to be surrounded by sheep people. It was really cool. Actually, I'm going to plug in a video now of me talking about the event, and I will show you a little bit about the event of our Loja sheep. No pasa nada, se puede hablar.
Es precioso. Es precioso. Bien. Oh. Mira, aquí tengo yo el frío, 6 cajas de... ¡Oh! ¡Para Antonio! Junto con la bolsa, para que la autoridad vaya del solar,
lo que aporta medioambientalmente, porque nuestras sierras, las que allí tenemos, que es un modelado práctico, un ecosistema con más de 20.000 hectáreas, la conservación, el envejecimiento y todo lo que le aporta a esa sierra es debido a que todavía podemos tener la suerte, y yo se lo digo a mi alcalde Joaquín, que puede todavía decir con orgullo que es de las pocas sierras, hay más en España, pero no hay tampoco tantas, que todavía tienen pastores y animales, porque desgraciadamente todas aquellas sierras que vemos arder en verano precisamente es porque ya están exentas de falta de ganaderos y de animales.
¿Quieres que hable?
Si quiere.
So I'm working with Loja which is from the area of Loja, but extends over various parts of Andalusia. And I'm just gently introducing the wool so that I can control the thickness of the yarn. This hasn't been washed, so it's very dirty. So I'm what they call working in the grease. It's possible to see on my lap all the little bits of dust come out of these animals that have had such a natural life.
Y la cabeza de a mí me decía
And if it breaks, now what am I going to do?
What are you gonna do?
Glue it? Nope.
No?
Start the wheel. Put the broken threads together. Hold them together. And spin. And they're joined. Magic of wool.
The magic of wool.
It is an incredible material.
It really is.
So there we go.
There we go. Thank you, Sian.
A lovely little bit of wool to add to the collection.
Yes.
Magic of wool.
The magic of wool.
It is an incredible material.
It really is.
So there we go.
There we go. Thank you,
A
Sian.
lovely little bit of wool to add to the collection.
Yes. Hello, friends. We are out here. Underneath, is that Venus or Jupiter? I don't know. I don't think I've ever recorded at night, but I was in the park and it's kind of like that blue hour. It's really beautiful out. And I thought I could share a little bit about today's event because today I went to visit the shepherds of the Lohenia sheep, which is the sheep of our second edition of Save the Sheep. And they invited me and Antonio and Amalia and everyone, although I was the only one who went, unfortunately, but everyone was busy, but to a restaurant school here in Granada that was doing a whole talk about the importance of the breed of sheep, the Lohenia sheep. So Lohenia is a local breed of sheep here in Granada, and its importance for the biodiversity and the ecosystem is just incredible. They were talking about how the sheep obviously are doing their part in preventing forest fires because they are grazing on the land. And actually they were talking about how some people are actually even renting herds of sheep, flocks of sheep, to come and clean up the forest areas to prevent fires, which I think is amazing. And just how incredible the Lohenia sheep are because they live in such a rocky area with not a lot of vegetation, and they're able to turn that very sparse landscape into animal protein, which is super important. And yeah, so we were able to try, I know people who might not consume meat might feel uncomfortable about this, but we were able to try some of the delicious recipes that were made, sorry, my arm's getting tired, that were made by the students at the school. I was able to meet the other people who work with the Lohenia yarn, and I was able to meet Sian, who is a spinner. She's a British woman who lives in Loja, and she was showing me how to spin. She was teaching me about spinning in the grease, which is something I think I would be interested in. And she was showing me how to card the yarn, the wool, and it was just amazing. And she showed me all of her natural dye experiments, and I just thought it was so cool because she, like me, just likes to try whatever she sees. And she said that one day she was peeling almonds, cracking them open, and she realized that the skin had a pinkish color to it. And she said, what would happen if I tried to dye with it? And she got an amazing pink color. It was so beautiful. So we got to try it with our almond skin peels. I don't know if she used like the shell or like the inner skin. I don't know, but we got to try it out. And I also met Isa, who is a woman from Galicia who lives in Malaga, and she does all this amazing felt work. And she also does natural dyeing. She showed me her felted wool that was dyed with oxalis. Those little, I love them. What do I call them? Oxalis, I don't know. Those little trebles, 3-leaf, 4-leaf clovers, those little clovers. Which are delicious, by the way. Have you ever eaten them? They're really good. They taste like lemonade. I love them, and they're full of vitamin C and lots of minerals, so why not? They're like a little snack when you're on a hike. And she dyes with the flowers, and she says that it turns a beautiful yellow color, but hers was orange. And I was like, how did you get the orange? And she said that the process of felting it and changing the pH with the soap makes it orange. So many experiments. And it was just so lovely to meet everyone and to spend time with like all these people who love yarn and wool and sheep and good food and biodiversity and everything. So really an honor to be a part of that. And yeah, so go save the sheep, but we need to save the shepherds, because I think that shepherding is something that the younger generations are not interested in, and we need to save the shepherds, and then the sheep will be saved too, and everything else. So okay, good night. So I recorded that at the night. You can see Jupiter and Venus up in the sky, yes. But so this is our Save the Sheep, naturally dyed with logwood. We still have kits available if you're interested, and the kits come with, now it's not a surprise anymore, it was a surprise for the people who got the kits before March, but now it's all out in the open. So the kits come with the 3 skeins of yarn for you to be able to knit the sheep life pattern. This pattern is available in video. It's available in PDF in English, Spanish, and Italian, so you can knit along with us and show us your sheep life. Shamika says that these look like roses that come out and not just like little sheep that come out. I don't know. It's a combination of like flowers and sheep. But I love this yarn. I'm super excited to see how it blocks out in this shawl. I think it's going to be really pretty. And we have lots of colors available, and if you are interested in getting the yarn like just in the natural color and you want to do some natural dyeing yourself, we have some people who ordered in the natural color, which is really nice, and you can dye with some of your local plants, or we can dye them for you. We've got some really cool colors, and if you have any colors that you would want it to be and want to reach out, we're more than happy to help you with that. So the kits come with the 3 skeins of yarn for the pattern, come with the pattern. It also comes with the knit nights, which are going all through March. It comes with a Telegram group, so you could join us and chat away and share your progress. And also a soap from a local project, which is working with people with neurodivergencies or different mental capacities, and they are working, and they have like a little shop in like a little booth in the center of the city, and they sell handmade soaps. So we went to them and we ordered some soaps for our kit, and we got the one that's made with poppy seeds, and it's really cool. So you get a little soap, you get the book, and you get our beautiful tote bag, which I have been embroidering, and I would love to see other people's take on how they embroider the tote bags. So if you get a Save the Sheep tote bag and you want to embroider it and share it with us, that would be really cool. Show us what it looks like and show us what you've done. So that is the 2nd edition of Save the Sheep, and this is my project that I'm working on. I am knitting this on 6mm needles, which is US 10. A lot of people in the group are knitting them on like bigger needles, like maybe even like a 7mm needle, but these are the ones I had available, and I'm quite a loose knitter, so I thought it would be fine. And I'm excited to see how that works out, because it's like super squishy, and it's going to be a really nice warm shawl to use in the fall, because now we're having summery weather and I don't think I'm going to need it right now. But yes, so that is that. and more things. Okay, so this is a project that I cast on that honestly, I don't know, I just cast it on just to have something to knit on. It's actually super, super soft. This is a Saturday Shrug by the Caddy Jacks Knits, but I am in love with the, what is that cast on called? It's the one that everyone hates, but it's super easy, surprisingly. What is it called? The cable cast on? Is it a cable cast on? I don't know, whatever it is, but it's the one that comes with the pattern. This is a Saturday Shrug. It's a free pattern. It's just a shrug. So it's just gonna be like a cowl thing that you can pull down over your shoulders if you want. And it's like just ribbed. Super, super easy, and you knit it in really bulky yarn. And I just wanted something to, one, to use some of our Loja yarn. No, Loja yarn. No, this is the Rosette. This is the first Save the Sheep. And actually, let me show you. I mixed it. This is the Rosette yarn. So this was the first edition of Save the Sheep. And I naturally dyed this with olive leaves and pomegranate skin. And it's like a really beautiful like chain ply. This is from the Rosette yarn, which is a endangered species sheep from the Valle d'Aosta in Italy, in the valley underneath the Alps. It's a beautiful place to live. And this is the Rosette breed. And I am combining it with this Surrey alpaca that I have, that I used in my Sagittaria sweater, which you might remember from the last episode. But I had some left. I don't know if I have some more, so maybe I should think about what I'm doing here, because I might only have this amount. I think I have some more. And yeah, so I mixed them together, and like the combination of the Rosette with the Surrey is like super, super soft. This was an idea I got from Susan of Wild Cottage Knitting in Ireland, and she told me that she was mixing the Rosette yarn with some mohair, and I was like, ooh, I could mix the Rosette yarn with some Surrey alpaca. So that's what I'm doing. And this pattern is supposed to be like this shrug that has like stripes. And so I was thinking that like I could mix, maybe if I don't have enough Surrey, well, I could do a stripe of the Rosette mixed with maybe a mohair, and then the Rosette mixed with another mohair. I've got lots of options. We need to play around with what we have in our stash. And I think this is a really cool pattern. And again, I think it's the cable cast on, no? But it's like super stretchy, and I think that it looks really nice. I don't know, I love the cast on. So that is the Saturday Shrug. It is living in this project bag, which I think like the colors go really well. Don't you love when your project bag goes with your yarn? This was also made for me by my lovely Carola Down Under. If you are in Australia, you could. She's actually selling her naturally dyed yarns now in a few shops in Australia, so I'm super excited for Erica and all that she's doing. But yes, Saturday Shrug. This is knit on 5.5 millimeters, a 9, a US 9. Super easy. It's like a good thing to have also for like mindless knitting. And again, this is something that I will want to have done for the fall, now that we're getting to warm weather. Now I'm thinking of all like the summer things I can knit. Oh my gosh, I've got so many cast-ons I want to do. There's always so much to knit. We have, like, a knitter is never bored. Like, do you ever feel that you're bored? I always feel like I have so many things that I could be doing, embroidering, knitting. dyeing, just naturally dyeing, doing so many different things, sewing. I've got so many like sewing projects I want to do. Just never stops. So many exciting things. So, okay, more things. So I just wanted to show you what my plan and idea is for the Irish knit along that is starting on the 17th of March. It's gonna be really fun, and we're supposed to find either a pattern or yarn from Ireland. And my dear friend Susan from Wild Cottage Knitting sent me some yarn. She said, Nicole, do you want to participate in the Irish knit along? Do you need some Irish yarn? Would you like me to send you some Irish yarn? And I was like, okay, thank you. She was like, this yarn has your name on it. And I said, okay. And it's so beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh. It's like a yarn beard. Okay, so this is from Eve Chambers Textiles. Hold on, we've got a little bit of construction going on. Let me close the window. Okay, I don't know if that's gonna be much better because my neighbors are doing some construction, which is noisy, but it's okay. So this yarn is from Eve Chambers Textiles. We've also got a lot of sun. Eve Chambers Textiles. And this was from, I believe it was like an advent, but this is like a fade, and it's like the sunset. So it starts off like with the red and goes into these oranges. It's like a real, like, look at that one. That one is so beautiful. And then these, oh my gosh, and it has like yellows. I'm so excited to go through this. So my idea is to make a brioche like sweater without sleeves type thing, like oversized boxy thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this for the back part, and I'm going to brioche knit a square. And then I'm going to brioche knit 2 rectangles for the front part, and I'm just going to seam it here and seam it in the sides. And it's just going to be like a boxy, oversized brioche, colorful Technicolor dream coat. And so I had started with a much bigger needle, and I was thinking that I didn't want it to be like, because it's going to be a lot of yarn, I wanted it to be like tighter, so that with the weight of it, it will probably be like slouchy, but I want it to be tighter. So I just cast on once again. And I am knitting it in combination with the beautiful yarn that was given to me by, this is the Sunset from Eve Chambers Textiles, given to me by Susan. And I am going to combine it with my Rainbow Advent minis and this beautiful blue sky from Marianela. And I feel like the whole combination is just gonna be spectacular. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to stripe the minis on one side of the brioche, and then on the other side of the brioche, I'm just going to use this nice creamy pinky lace weight alpaca from Yarnitas. And so I think it's gonna be a very interesting combination. In my head, it looks really beautiful, but we shall see. And in Marianela's minis, I've got colors like these. So these will probably be on the front side. It's gonna be a colorful extravaganza. And so I really would love to finish it before I go to Sevilla Teje, because Sevilla is like such a colorful city, and I think that it would be really fun to be able to wear it there. It's just, I need to brioche knit a square and then 2 rectangles. Can I do it? I've also got on my needles, or about to be on my needles, a test knit for Sevilla Teje. And I've also got on my needles that I cannot show you my project for the shawl swap. Like, this shawl was gifted to me 2 years ago. I'm still participating, and I'm knitting now my shawl that will be gifted in May to my surprise person. So I've got that with a time limit. I'd really like to get this done by May, and the test knit also should be done by May. So I've got a lot. So I think that I need to put some things on the back burner. Like I was saying, I'm pretty sure that like this Saturday shrug is going to be on the back burner because I'm not going to wear it in summer, and it's almost summer. It's March, I know, but it's getting hot. And yes, I also have my Suka shawl, which is like on a forever back burner. Got a lot of whips. Like, how did this happen? I also have my Verbena socks, which I haven't even really touched those. I've done like one lace repeat maybe. So we've got a lot. We've got a lot to knit. So I should stop talking to you guys and go do that. That's what I'm gonna do. I think that now I will leave you with the, what am I gonna leave you with? Oh, with the plants, with the plants. Oh, I wanted to let you know that I have been reestablishing the Yarny chats of ThymeWeaver and Friends. If you don't know about those, on my channel, I have been doing, really in the past, I did a lot of them. If you like go back like to last year's videos, there's a bunch of really amazing interviews that I did with other fiber people, and I started doing that again. So check those out because they're really fun. There's some in English, some in Spanish. Really cool. And yeah. Okay, so on to the plants. See you again next time. Ciao, 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 ciao. Hello friends, just a few more things. So I'm out here on the terrace of a co-working space where I've been coming recently to do some of my online classes, like if my boyfriend is rehearsing at home, or I don't know, but it's really nice because I can come and sit out here and be in the fresh air and yeah, and do my classes. So I wanted to mention another podcast and an event for this summer. So I was talking about, I don't know, different podcasts that I have been enjoying, and I have to mention Emily Eva Makes, who is a friend of mine from here in Granada, and she actually just started a podcast called Creative Minds. She does it both in Spanish and in English, which I think is really cool, just like mine. And I'm really proud of her because she wasn't sure if she wanted to do it. She was like a little bit nervous to start, but we all, like Marianela and I, and then people from Marianela's channel, all like encouraged her, like, come on, do it, because she wanted to talk about mental health and like creativity and just like bringing more visibility to people who suffer with mental health problems or anything like that. So last night I was actually feeling a little bit like, I don't know, like so. And so I was like, I'm going to sit down with my knitting and watch something. And I thought, oh, I'm going to watch the new episode that Emily put out. And it was so nice because she was talking about how she had been feeling like kind of not so good. And just like really being super honest and open about her feelings. And they're like super relatable, which I think is great. And then she talked about how, like, what creative things she does to fight that or to work with that or make her feel better. And that made me feel better. And then because she talked about like journaling and creative writing and just like getting things out on paper, which I think is a really important thing to do. So this morning I sat down with my beautiful Camino notebook and started writing, just answering some questions that what were like writing prompts from a friend. But yeah, so it's nice to watch her podcast. We have to go send her some love because she's just starting, and I think, I don't know, it was nice to watch and to feel like accompanied. So speaking of that, I just mentioned the Camino notebook, which I designed last year with like all the plants and flowers that came up for all of us when we were doing our walk of caminating of the Camino de Santiago. If you don't know about this, you can go watch my video from last year where I talked about the amazing trip. And I wanted to let you know that we're going back. We're going back this year. We are starting in Tui, and we're doing the Portuguese trail, so we go from south to north. It's only about 100 and something kilometers. We do it in 6-7 days, I think, and it's going to be amazing. We are going the last weekend in July. I'll put the dates and all the information here so that you can see. And I wanted to invite you all to come because it's going to be amazing. I'm going to be giving a workshop just like last year. And something new that Antonio has added is affiliate links. So I have an affiliate link. So in case you decide you want to come and you want to use my link, that means that I will get a little bit of cash money that I can then use to treat you to some vermouth on the Camino. So so we're going. I think the tickets go on sale the 26th of March. So if you want to come, get on that. It's going to be amazing. And we're going to have people from all over the world, and it's going to be so great. And I'm so excited. So see you there, hopefully. And if you want your Camino notebook for all your writing and stuff, it's available on my Ko-Fi. You can go check out my Ko-Fi. I always have like stitch markers in there and different things in case you want to send me some economic love and receive some deliciously wonderful stitch markers or whatever. Okay, well, talk to you later. So today I wanted to talk about oxalis, which is also known as yellow wood sorrel or lemon clover or shapeweed. And also I wanted to talk about red clover, which is a totally different family of plants, totally different, but they're both looked at as clovers. It's interesting because oxalis, which has these 3 heart-shaped leaves that come together, is actually like the shape of a clover when someone draws a clover, right? Like for St. Paddy's Day or a shamrock. But it's actually not even in the clover family. So oxalis stricta, which is a plant, I believe it grows more commonly in the United States and in the Americas, whereas here in Spain, I believe the oxalis that we have is oxalis pes capre, which I thought was interesting because pes means like foot, pie, and capre means cabra or goat. So it's like goat foot because the leaves kind of look like goat feet, I suppose. So it's interesting because the 3 heart leaves actually curl up at night with the circadian rhythms, which I think is really interesting and beautiful. Also, the seeds explode when disturbed, so they can be dispersed up to like 4 meters away or 13 feet, which is crazy that they can jump so far. I have to try that out. I haven't actually noticed that happening ever. So when you taste these oxalis, you will notice the oxalic acid, which actually you don't want to be like eating these and consuming them like too much, everything in moderation, because actually this oxalic acid inhibits the absorption of calcium. So you don't want to go too crazy with it, but it's full of vitamin C. And actually in Spanish they're called vinagretas, which I didn't know that, but I saw that the juice can be extracted to create something similar to a vinegar. And yeah, so they're like tart and sour and juicy, they're crisp. People say it's similar to rhubarb. I've actually never even tried rhubarb. But they're like a thirst quencher, like when you're out hiking, if you find them, they're like juicy and delicious and like a little glass of lemonade. So I really like them. Also, I saw that medicinally they can be used, like not only are they full of minerals and vitamins for like eating them, but medicinally they can be used as a poultice for swellings or like bug bites, similarly to plantain, right? So that is oxalis, and I think that they're interesting because, well, I've always seen them, I've always eaten them on my walks, and when I was at the Logenia conference, I saw that Isabel from Malaga was dyeing with it and getting this gorgeous bright orange color. So I am hoping to do that soon, and we'll see what results I have. So talking about red clover, which is trifolium pratense. And this is actually in like the peas and beans and legumes family, the Fabaceae. So there are in red clover. So red clover it's very difficult to find commercially here in Spain. I'm hoping to buy some the next time I travel to the States, or if anyone has any information about where I could buy this plant dried. I have collected some, but I have only found like small patches of it. And to be able to make nourishing herbal infusions, you want to have at least a dried ounce. So normally to make nourishing herbal infusions, I've talked about this before, nourishing herbal infusions, you can look them up online, are strong overnight infusions that are made with nourishing herbs that are very rich in vitamins, minerals, because minerals need a lot of time to extract, right? And they are always made with plants that do not have strong smell or like essential oils in them. So you're never going to make a nourishing herbal infusion with lavender or mint or anything smelly. But I mean, the plant can smell a bit, but like you don't want it to be a specifically like a strong smelling plant. Anyway, so those are the nourishing herbal infusions, and red clover is one that you can rotate through. So I typically rotate through nettles and comfrey, and I don't really have oat straw here, but oat straw is another recommended one. Hold on, we've got a group going by. So this is where I am, and there are people that walk by, and sometimes if a big group walks by, they're noisy. Anyway, red clovers are a wonderful nourishing herbal infusion to add to your rotation if you can, and they are wonderful for the lymphatic system. It improves blood availability, great for the kidneys. Although it does have coumarin derivatives, so it does thin your blood, which is not a bad thing, depending on your body. But this is why we never drink nourishing herbal infusions like the same one for a week, Like I will drink nettles one day, the next day I will drink mullein, the next day I will drink linden. So you don't want to be drinking the same one every day. So these are good so the red clover is wonderful in infusion, not a tea, not a tincture, never a capsule. I'm really not a fan of taking herbs in capsules. I don't think it's a good idea. I think that when people run into problems with herbal medicine, it's because they were taking them in pill form. So the red clover is safe for everyone. It is actually used to feed pregnant and lactating cows, and we are animals too. It is important for pregnant women as well. You make the infusion with the blossoms, the leaves, the stems. It's high in protein, macro and trace minerals, and vitamins, but there's no B12. But it is an excellent source of phytosterols, which are hormone-like substances found in plants that can be bioconverted in the human gut into active anti-cancer estrogens and other helpful anti-stress hormones. So red clover, it's really helpful if there's any like scarring in the fallopian tubes or irregular menses or abnormal cells in the reproductive tract. It's important for women's reproductive health, but also for men's reproductive health, men's health in general. I think that this plant is safe for men, women, children, cows, probably dogs too. I wonder if I also would like some. All right, well, that is enough for today. I highly recommend that you do more research into this if you're interested. I would love to chat with you about your experiences with any and all of the things that we've talked about today. So leave your comments down below. Thank you for sharing your time with me. And I wish you a wonderful day, week, month, year, or what have you. All right, I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.